If you go woke, you go broke. And the latest rumor with Warner Brothers Discovery is that they're having internal discussions about shutting down Rocksteady, the development studio of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which I might add was Sweet Baby Inc. influenced. What's the common denominator here? If Sweet Baby Inc. is any kind of influence on your video game or your development studio, you often tend to fail. And it seems like more and more we're getting reports of all these studios that have had some kind of influence by Sweet Baby Inc. shutting down. Yeah, I think there's been like just this week alone 2 to 3 reports of studios closing their doors. Well, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was an utter disaster when it was launched. It came out and completely bombed. It was an instant failure. I believe there was reports of over $200 million lost on this game. Can you imagine being a shell of a former self of a studio where you made games like Arkham Asylum and other great hits using the Batman franchise, and then all of a sudden you're regulated to being a failure, a joke of a launch with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was sad to see because I was quickly hoping that this game would be good, and then as soon as it came out, I was like, wow, I'm glad I didn't buy that. Now, there's all sorts of nonsense involved with this. Most notably, because of the influence of Sweet Baby Inc., we see a lot of wokeness put into here, a lot of check boxes marked down. I mean, for God's sakes, there's rumor of the Mrs. Freeze character coming out. Mrs. Freeze, which leaked out and is all but confirmed at this point because they've been copyright striking anybody showing the leaks. Why do we need a Mrs. Freeze in our Suicide Squad game? Why can't we just have Mr. Freeze? Can anybody tell me that? Why do we need to have feminism and modern audience nonsense injected into all these games? It's because of Sweet Baby Inc. And Sweet Baby Inc. causes studios to fail. People don't want this nonsense. Well, now there's a new rumor going on. And Vera Dark, who, shout outs to Vera Dark, big fan of their channel. Taking a look at this tweet, you can see Vera Dark says they usually do not speak on insider information that they receive, but they think this is one that we have all pieced together ourselves. Warner Brothers is internally talking about closing Rocksteady or having their 250 employees after Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's bomb. So we already pieced that together. We know Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League bombed. We've seen the numbers. We've seen the player base dwindle down, very down, which we'll look at that in a minute. It's basically dead on arrival. And again, when you have all this weird nonsense, when companies are more focused on check boxes of a DEI list and not making an actual great game with any kind of like substance to it, this whole emotionless, neutral, gray blob of personality with all these characters and stuff, it fails. It always fails, ladies and gentlemen. But continuing on to this, you can see Vera says just last month, David Zaslav announced that it lost them over 200 million EBITDA year over year. 200 freaking million. And I've heard rumor that this game is coming to Game Pass too, and I don't even think that's going to save it. Now, they go on to say they have heavily covered Warner Brothers games and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League since release because of what it represented for Warner Brothers games and a beloved franchise. When it was greenlit, we were seeing a giant scramble for studios to create live service games, and this one released too late. Plus, the content did not resonate with players. Again, like I said, you're changing everything about the franchise. You're going for wokeness points. You're making crap like Mrs. Freeze. People don't like that. That doesn't resonate. They claim that they want it to be more relatable, but where's this modern audience that they're claiming these games are being made for? There's no such thing as a modern audience. There's no way to relate with something that doesn't exist. Players are not modern audiences. You have all these weird buzzwords and terminologies that these studios are starting to use because you got a lot of these political activists that are cosplaying as video game developers, ruining stuff. It's a real thing, guys. It's infecting everything. Now, continuing on with what is on this tweet, Vera Dark says Rocksteady Studios co-founders and studio heads also departed the company back in 2022. Rocksteady is a shell of the company it used to be, and we saw this happen recently with Embracer Group and Volition, a company that had 30 years of experience under their belt, and it sounds as though Warner Brothers is planning to pull the plug on Rocksteady too. You hate to see it, honestly. They have no other games publicly announced, and there does not seem to be any confidence in them anymore. Even back in 2016, we got the Batman Arkham VR game that was developed by Rocksteady, and the new Batman Arkham Shadow VR game is being done by Camouflage. Only time will tell. Doesn't seem like the future is very bright for Rocksteady, and I agree. It doesn't seem like the future is bright at all, and that's what happens when you let people like Sweet Baby Inc. influence you to make crap like this. Mrs. Freeze. Gag me with a fucking spoon. Look how horrible. First of all, Mrs. Freeze aside, let's just say this was a brand new original character. Look at the fucking hair. They literally have the Karen haircut. Look at their facial features. Look at their body. Devoid of any kind of feminine features. They literally just put like a female's face on a male's body. And that's what they tend to do in all these games. They make the female characters masculine and the masculine characters feminine. And if you think that it's some kind of weird, wacky conspiracy theory, look at how they're making Lara Croft now. Look at how they made Aloy in Horizon Forbidden West. Look how they made Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man. Look how they're changing all these characters, and then they throw shit fits about Stellar Blade having a sexualized character. It's nuts. Now, let's look at this right here. I believe this is the Steam database, the Steam charts. Look at the fall off right here. Look at the fall off. There's 185 players playing as of this screenshot at the moment, and the 24-hour peak was 286, and the all-time peak was only 13,459. There are creative modes on Fortnite that have more people than what this game has right now. There's more people playing games like Roblox than what this game has right now. This game is officially dead, and a whole studio is going to be closing. A whole studio that made games like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. A whole studio that had a good track record has now become a shell of itself, has now died to the point where they're probably going to be shutting down, or at least cutting half the employees, which you hate to see this. But that is exactly what happens when you stop focusing on what you're about as far as being a game studio goes. Nobody wants stuff for modern audiences. Nobody wants political messages. Nobody wants social commentary. Nobody wants Sweet Baby Inc. influence in games. This is what does happen when Sweet Baby Inc. is involved. It kills your games. Nobody wants this stuff. And I thank God every day I'm not one of these insufferable twats like an Alyssa Mercante or any of the people that are influenced by Kotaku or Sweet Baby Inc. to think and to be that much of a non-individual to think that that's the way that people want their games to go or their movies and TV, because it's happening with stuff like Star Wars The Acolyte. I haven't even touched on The Acolyte yet. Wait till I touch on that. But yeah, this is proof. The proof is in the fucking pudding, guys. The proof is in the pudding. And you hate to see people lose their jobs over this, but that's the thing with corporations. They're more focused on DE&I at this point. They're more focused on getting diversity points for a small amount of population and changing their logos for Pride Month just to get attention and clout off of it. They really don't give a shit. And then when they fail, this ultimately will be blamed on gamers like you, like me, straight male gamers. We will be considered the problem. They will blame it on us. They will say it's our fault when they're making these half-ass live service games that have nothing good about them, no good mechanics. You know, I play games like Fortnite, but at least there's still substance to Fortnite, believe it or not. And there's a lot of different modes. They drip feed some good content. They have good collaborations. They have a variety of different gameplay modes. And then you have people that want to make half-assed Overwatch with wokeness in it, and they're surprised when it doesn't go over well. They're honestly surprised. So you hate to see it when video game development studios close and go under. You've been seeing a lot. I mean, just the other day, Xbox shut down a lot of studios as well. And is it a sign that the gaming industry is in trouble? Yeah, probably more than likely. They are in some serious trouble right here. And it doesn't help that they're allowing companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to influence them. When are they going to learn their lesson? When it's too late? So, I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you're brand new, and I will see you later. Thank you for watching.